Hi, everyone. Let's talk about January 20th, 2025, which I thought was a decent show. Let's talk about it, guys. The show opens with their sense of talent arriving at the arena, and Rhea Ripley is walking across when Nia Jax blindsides her and beats her down, about putting her through a chin lin. I'll say it again. Chin a chin lin fence before referees and road agent Storm and GM Adam Pearce calls for a medic, which was insane. That Nia Jackson Rhea Ripley brawl was insane, man. Then Michael Cole introduces Wade Barrett as his commentary partner for tonight, with Pat McAfee busy elsewhere. And then, Jey Uso makes his entrance and he's on the mic and he talks about Saturday night main event and his plans to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Then Gunther comes out and he laughs out Jey's plans to win the title and calls him a funny little man. And they both know that not how it's going to happen. Last week, Jey looked him in the eye and said every day he bets on himself and he believes him, and he was excited for their match till today. And when he saw him walking in, he pretended like their conversation never happened, acting like a course dork, like a mascot, and now he's risking he might as well fight Jimmy, and Jey never follow up with his words and what he's bet on himself to his cousin, called him to Sami Zayn or Jimmy Uso or Cody Rhodes needs him, and all that makes him is a useful idiot, and he doesn't even realize it. And in Uso's words, I'll say it again, Jey Uso's words and actions do not a sense, but Gunther's do, and he says on Saturday when the bell rings, he's going to expose him as a flash in the pan with no business being that close to the World Heavyweight Championship. And Jey admits he's right again. And yeah, he is the mascot, and the people in the crowd are his team and his squad, and who ride and slide with him, and they'll be with him when he wins the title on Saturday. And Jey Uso points out he main evented WrestleMania and Gunther never has, and the ring general snaps and attacks, and we get a nice back and forth brawl. To Jey Uso sends him to the floor with a super kick and holds the belt high in the ring before letting it down and telling him to come back, to come and get it. And Gunther gets up on the apron and butterfly before backing off and taking his title and leaving, which was amazing. That was amazing, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you. Whoever's watching, appreciate it, like I always say. So then the New Day are walking backstage, and they're excited to run into JBL, who's no doubt understands them, and they're going to be on commentary for their match against Rey Mysterio. And Kofi Kingston slides some money into his suit pocket and chuckles, saying, "You like money?" because asking if he goes out and makes their case for them. And then JBL says he gets it, and Biggie has all these muscles and charisma, and everybody loves him. And now that he's gone, they gotta pay attention to them, right? And New Day concerns sour, and they walk off disappointed. And JBL asks if he gets to keep the $2, which that was a funny skit right there, a funny skit. Then Rey Mysterio makes his entrance, and we go to the break. Yeah, the match damage control was inferior, like a banger. Yeah, we'll be talking about that in a bit. Red Lightning Boy, I'll be talking about that in a bit. So Rey Mysterio makes his entrance. We go to the break, and back from the commercial, Bayley is interviewed backstage, and she says the cat is out of the bag, and she's officially back on Raw, and it feels good, and it feels right. And she also declares herself in the Royal Rumble, and since she won last year, she's going back to back and feels pretty good. And she talks about picking a champion to fight, and Nia Jax rolls up and speaks merely for a beat before the mic kicks in, and she says she's going to win the Royal Rumble, and she has since a CCW poke in front row. We see a CCW poke in front row, like I just said. And then New Day cuts a promo in their entrance, annoying as their music's playing. And Kofi says the crowd is starting to piss him off. With all the booing, they've been doing this too long to be disrespected like this. They're walking Hall of Famer, and he takes his money back from JBL. Then Kofi Kingston faced Rey Mysterio, which was a fun match. We've seen these guys fight so many times, but their stuff is good. But it's not great, but it's good. I still enjoy it. And then JBL is on commentary for this one and struggling over a standing switch, wrist lock, and takedown from Kofi Kingston and riling Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio with an arm dragger reverse, rolling through a headlock and shoots off shoulder block take to the legend of his feet and off the ropes. Rey Mysterio with a Tarasa drop toe hold puts him on the second, but Kofi ducks the 619 and trading kicks in the corner and shoulder blocks from Rey slingshot, but Kofi Kingston blocks the powerbomb and following after Kofi's hooks him and short powerbomb into the steps into the midsection and another powerbomb since is reversed into a Frankenstein that sends Kofi Kingston into the steel steps as we go to the break. Then off the ropes, Rey cuts him off with a bulldog, and both men are down and out and up in the turnbuckles, jockeying for precision. Rey Mysterio with the diving, sitting suicide and springboard crossbody fold, but nobody's home and counters a sunset flip into a dropkick counter for two, and then sets up for the 619, but Xavier Woods trips Rey Mysterio up and gets ejected by the referee, and then Rey Mysterio ducks Kofi. I'll say it again. Rey Mysterio ducks Xavier Woods, but Kofi Kingston attacks from behind with a northern lariat and victory roll, sets him up. This time, Rey hits the 619 slingshot splash, and the knees are up, but Mysterio kicks out of the cover, and Rey counters the bomb drop, and that's how he won, and that's how Rey Mysterio won the match and defeated Kofi Kingston. Oh, man. Oh, the post-match was good. Let's talk about it anyways, guys. Post-match, New Day goes to put boots to Rey, but Wild and Cruz del Toro make the save, and New Day makes like they're going to leave, but they come back to do a hit and run on Wilds, and they throw him into the post, and then we get a recap of Penta's debut from last week. Like I said again, if you go back to watch the one that I did for January 13th, just a couple minutes ago or whatever, that debut match was a banger. A banger. But anyways, guys, carry back. Backstage as an interview is standing by well. Chad Gable gets the rest of American Made hype up, and he turns around and says he knows the whole wrestling world is talking about him, and he knows it seems like he has had a problem fighting luchadors, so he wants an intelligent man and a mustache to watch, and Donovan Mysterio helps him out, and meanwhile he's getting the rest of the squad to march orders to go after their first titles, and Julius Creed says they're going to take the tag titles away from a team at the end of their career and win them from themselves just to enter their prime. And Sami Zayn is showed walking backstage to send us to break. And guess what? Red Lightning boy. On my last video, I was been calling him Sammy Callahan, bro. I've just been thinking about freaking TNA, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know, but my brain, bro. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, it's Sami Zayn. Back from commercial, Sami Zayn is in the ring and gets on the mic, and he's not going to beat around the bush, and he spoke to Adam Pearce and officially enters into the 2025 Royal Rumble. And last week, Seth Rollins told him he spends too much time helping other people, and that got him thinking about what he wants, and about 14-year-old him, about the moments around. Hold on, I need to. Yeah. About 14 years old him, and about the millions around the world and their dreams of being pro wrestlers, and the thousands that get to live that dream, and the very small group lucky enough to call themselves WWE superstars, and the little small group, the top taller of WWE, and that's where he is now, and he firm believes that he is a bit as good as the rest of those guys, and they're all in the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and the all difference between them is that they have world titles in their name, but he hasn't. Then he has a great life and a great career and doesn't feel like he needs the world title to prove himself, and the support from the fans through the years mean more than any world title ever could. So no, he doesn't need the world title, but damn it, he wants it, and a 14-year-old him wants it, and he's still with him, and that's why he's going to take the world title. Then, Kevin Owens enters Kevin Owens comes out with the Wigan Eagle WWE Championship. They should keep the Wigan Eagle, but they're not going to do that. I already know they're gonna do with the other belt. They're gonna do with the other belt. The best thing would be them to freaking keep the Wigan Angel, but they're not going to do that. They're going to keep that other belt, that WWE belt, the golden belt, the one that Cody Rhodes has. They're going to keep that one. I already know. Whoever freaking wins at the Royal Rumble, they're going to get that freaking belt that Cody has been wearing. That's what Kevin Owens would be wearing if he becomes champion. I think there's no way they'll say, oh well, you know, that was just for one event, for Saturday night main event. It was only for Saturday night main event. So, the first Saturday night main event, which the second one is this Saturday. The second one is this Saturday, folks. So then Sami Zayn says he knows it was only a matter of time and asks Kevin how he wants to do this. And Owens is confused, and Zayn says the whole world saw what he did to Cody Rhodes, so how is this going to go down? And Kevin Owens admits he doesn't understand Sami Zayn with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series, but then he thought about it and he realized it was different, and Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns have a lot of history, much like they do, and Sami Zayn has overlooked a lot of things, and Roman Reigns has done to him the same as he forgotten Kevin Owens for since computer Tamir trespass and what Sami Zayn does because he's a good person, and Seth Rollins is right, and Sami Zayn does a lot for his friends, and that's why he is here as his very best friend. And he believes that Sami Zayn can and will win the Royal Rumble because he deserves to win the Royal Rumble and go on the fight for the WWE Championship. And they can complete this one more thing together. Since that their dreams of 25 years ago that they won the tag titles in the main event of WrestleMania, which that happened at WrestleMania 39, you remember. And then now they can do it one-on-one for the title. And he knows Sami Zayn will win the Royal Rumble because he has his back, and he knows that he's going to walk out as WWE Champion because he knows Sami will have his back because he's his best friend and his brother, and if he needs him, he'll be there. And that's what happened with the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens thing, which was good. Then we had Sheamus is interviewed backstage. He says some people would say he has the perfect WWE career backwards because he beat John Cena about 6 months in. But the Intercontinental Championship is the first title that drew him to WWE as a kid, and he's been assists with it for the last 5 years. But now the stars are less, and he's going to unfold his destiny. And Braun Breaker rolls up and tells Sheamus to look at the title, and he says this is as close as he ever gets the title, and because on Saturday he's going to break him like an old man, so do a favor and retire. And Sheamus does not in fact retire, instead shoves Braun Breaker away. So yes, we're going to get Sheamus and Braun Breaker as well on Saturday night for the Intercontinental title. Freaking man, oh man, we got a good card. Then Bayley and Nia Jax are shown walking backstage, separating to send us to the break. And back from the commercial, we get a commercial of WWE Hall of Famer Bob Cruiser, which I talked about on the SmackDown review. Then Bayley faced Nia Jax. Right here, guys. Let's talk about this right now. Nia Jax and Bayley hosses her up around Bayley and counters into a DDT off the ropes, and Nia Jax with a huge headbutt, cover for one, and back suplex gets the role model another near fall, and Nia Jax fires back with a rock bottom and goes up top, but Bayley climbs to cut her off and kicks and sends Nia to the floor, and Bayley draws her and goes to the break, and back from the break, Nia Jax gets a near fall off a Samoan drop, and Bayley gets a near fall of her own and return to the floor in a sunset flip, but Nia Jax into the post and leaves her a cinch on the floor. Well, the ref counts and she beats the count, and Bayley hits a cinch drop for two and follows it with a diving elbow, still not enough, and Nia Jax with a shoulder breaker, and she follows it up with a corner belly avalanche, and Bayley sidesteps her through the ropes, and Nia Jax cuts her off with an ince elbow and pulls her hard by the shoulder, and Nia Jax up top, and Bayley trips her up and knee trailer, and nope, shocking for precision into the turnbuckle, and Bayley hits the sunset flip powerbomb, but Nia Jax kicks out, then the role models off top, and elbow drop isn't enough, and Bayley with a chomp block, and Nia with a Samoan drop and a Suicide, and dragging her into the corner, and Nia Jax wins with a drop, and that's how she won. Then the post-match, Rhea Ripley stalks her away. I'll say it again. Post-match, Rhea Ripley stalks her away out, and down the ramp, and the brawl is on, and Nia Jax trips her up the apron and bounces her head off the announce desk and clears the announce desk, and the refs and rolled agents and security try to get them separated, and Rhea with a cannonball Suicide off the table before getting pulled back and apart. Then Rhea gets on the mic and books a match between them for Saturday night main event. And that's what happened right there, which was good, man. Really good stuff. And then Chad Gable is chatting with Dominic Mysterio in the Judgment Day's clubhouse, and Dom says he knows a guy that can help him out in hand in a fold-up piece of paper, and Chad Gable says he's going to go master the dark art of Lucha Libre. Then JD Madonna starts talking about how they have a tag title rematch, but Finn Balor's out hurt, so they are just going to do. And Dominic offers to step in for him, and everybody agrees that Finn wouldn't mind. And Dominic Mysterio tells Liv Morgan that he knows he's not mad, but he has an idea to make it up to her anyways, and then they walk off together. Then we get a video package for Lyra Valkyria winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and then they paid homage to Martin Luther King. That was really good. They did that as well, guys, because it was Martin Luther King Day on the 20th. And I'm not going to bring up the president stuff because, you know, some of you people, you want to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about you, Red Lightning Ball. I'm talking about other people that watch, you know. I'm not going to fight with you, so. Everybody has a different opinion, so that's what it should be about. Different opinions and getting along. Like our buddy says, so. That's just my opinion, but I really don't care about that. But the Martin Luther King thing, that really means a lot, you know, what he did for people, you know, in my opinion. Then we go to the break, and then back from the commercial, a football man talks butterfly about the connection between football and pro wrestling before we're shown the football man in the crowd. And then Sami Zayn catches Seth Rollins backstage and thanks him for the talk last week, and Seth Rollins says he hears him out there and he respects him and he loves rooting him in the Royal Rumble, but of course push comes to shove, he will throw him right out, and Sami Zayn of course says not if he does so first. Then Penta fences Pete Dunne. Penta. Oh man. Well, let's talk about. So Penta fences Pete Dunne, and Penta El Zero goes for the Zero Miro, and Penta. I'll say it again. Penta goes to the Zero Miro, and Pete Dunne reaches his hand and trading wild forearms and side headlocks from Pete Dunne, and shoots off leapfrogs and super kicks from Penta, and he sends to Pete Dunne, cuts him off with an elbow, and he takes Penta down and strips him fingers before stomping his elbow and stomping up an Incendiary and cutting him off in a backflip, and Penta rolls to the floor, and Penta calls for it, and Pete Dunne meets him with an elbow and X-Plex on the apron and sends us to the break. And back from the break, Pete Dunne with big following elbows, and Pete Dunne, I'll say again, Penta, I'll say again, I'm sorry guys, I got mistakenly right there because I was getting a call. Back from the commercial, Pete Dunne with big following elbows, and Penta comes back with a slinging blade and a handstand drop kick in the corner and a fireman carry and Death Valley driver so close and flip pile driver follows it up, but Pete Dunne rolls out of the ring, and there's a cross followed, and then back inside another flip pile driver counters, and then a beach break almost ends it, and then Mirror Zero And Pete Dunne wishbones in his fingers and goes for the triangle choke and counters powerbomb backbreaker, stripping in the arm and terrified pump handle. And then Pete Dunne, Pete Dunne lost to Penta, and Penta won with the Penta driver, and that's how Penta won with the Penta driver. And I'll say it again, guys, and I'll repeat it again. So Pete Dunne wishbones his fingers and goes for a triangle choke and counter powerbomb backbreaker and stripping the arm and sacrifice pump handle, and Penta wins with the Penta driver and defeats Pete Dunne. Man, I'm telling you. What's your thoughts on Penta being in WWE? I think it's great. In my opinion, great. Then we get a hype reel for Logan Paul, and CM Punk makes his entrance through the crowd and is interviewed from up high in the stands. And he says he's the maker of history. And just 3 short weeks ago, he has main evented the first Monday Night Raw on live Netflix and beated Seth Rollins in the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. And it's a fickle business that the scripts are too high and the lights too bright, and that when CM Punk strives when he is the best with these people behind him, and he couldn't see John Cena throwing him off the top rope. Roman Reigns needs his help to settle family business at War Games, and he puts Drew McIntyre in the dirt, and Sami Zayn isn't on his level, and he puts Hulk Hogan in the Royal Rumble. You will put his Ronnie ass over the top rope and end Hulkamania once for all. That was just insane. Then his name is CM Punk, and has since scored cashing in depth and calling him in a favor of 2 and make sure one man or one name and 3 labels gets hands raised in CM Punk. And that's what happened right there. Then we see Drew McIntyre roosting backstage, and we go to the break. Then we got the match. This is the match that freaking Red Lightning Bull was talking about right here. The match that he was talking about. This match right here was cool. It was cool in my opinion. It wasn't great, but it was decent. Just like he said, it was decent. We had the Damage Control, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky fences per Friction Collective, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. Shayna Baszler and Dakota Kai to start the match, and Shayna Baszler shifts kicks Schoolboy from Dakota Kai only for a near fall off the ropes and drop kicks, whips across, big boot up. I was thinking boot up from Dakota Kai and flying mirrors and blind tags from Zoe Starks, and a springboard drop kick cuts Dakota Kai off hard, and Dakota Kai is on the wrong side of town and quick tags to work her over, and Sicily, she makes the tag, and Io Sky lighting Zoe Starks up with kicks and ducks under and handsprings through big shitsy for Starks and a German suplex for Baszler and whips reverse. Io goes right into a dive on Shayna and kicks for the apron on Zoe and missile drop kick and a kip up Sky and running hot, and match breaks down and Starks with a super kick and an inside out suplex nope, and then Dakota Kai blasts Zoe Starks with a penalty kick off the apron, and Shayna Baszler takes her out in a clutch on Io Sky, and Io Sky slips out by diving through the ropes up top, and that's how the Damage Control defeated the Pure Fiction Collective. A lot of people say that PFC, for short, PFC should go to AEW. That Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark should go to AEW, and Shayna Baszler should go to AEW. In my opinion, because everybody doesn't like them, and a lot of people don't like them. They get booed so bad. In my opinion, Shayna Baszler should be the most focused for that women's division. She could help AEW. If freaking Tony Khan knew how to do women's wrestling. If Tony Khan knew how to do women's wrestling for a long time. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. What's your thoughts on that, guys? You can ask questions if you want to about that too. So then we get a recap of the feud between Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And Seth Rollins makes his entrance and sends us to the break. And this was the main event, guys. This was the main event. I thought the main event was good. We've seen these guys before fight each other. They put on great matches. Let's talk about it. So Drew McIntyre faced Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins won this match. Oh, whoa, whoa. Sorry, being too loud. And then collar and elbow. Drew McIntyre backs in him into the corner and clean breaks and shoving match breaks out and shoulder block. I'll say again. Shoulder block, knuckle. I'll say again. Collar and elbow. Drew McIntyre backs in into the corner, clean block, and a shoving match breaks out and shoulder block knocks Drew down and off the ropes and crisscross, just shoulder block and slinging blade from Rollins and clothesline sends Drew McIntyre to the floor and drop kicks through the ropes and suicide dive falls and we go to the break and then we went back. Then we come back from the break and trading strikes whip to the corner and Seth Rollins gets a boot up and an Alabama slam corner. I'll say it again, an Alabama slam counter into a victory roll for two, and both men collide in the corner and they go down, out, and back at it, and Seth Rollins pulls his shoulder first and a few times and before smacking his hands into the ring post, springboard knee and another knee and covers so close and a suicide for two. Then up top, Rollins with the superplex, but McIntyre rolls through and counters with a driver for a near fall. Then Seth Rollins ducks the claymore and Drew hits the spine buster and a jackknife pin, still no. And then a Falcon Arrow gets Rollins another near fall and a featured shot counter pedigree reverse and a lariat drops Seth. Then Drew McIntyre rolls to the apron for a breather up top and dive counters and back and forth and Rollins taking him to the mat and arm strap cross face ascends into the middle of the ring and Drew fights out and hair pulls into future shot and still not enough and back and forth flash pin. And that's how Seth Rollins won with the jackknife, and that's what happened right there. And then the post-match, a furious Drew McIntyre attacks Seth Rollins and the chase the referee out of the ring, and a claymore laid Seth Rollins out. And Drew McIntyre drags him out, drags him over the corner and puts his head against the post, and Sami Zayn makes the save and puts Drew McIntyre into the post, and Sami Zayn checks on Seth Rollins and rolls him to save before going back to Drew McIntyre and eating a heart head butt and getting through into the barricade on the ropes and back inside Drew sidesteps and Rollins and eats the hella kick and Drew McIntyre chuckles. Well, Sami Zayn is full of remorse and Seth Rollins is furious, and that's what happened right there, guys. And I give this Raw a 7 out of 10. It was a decent show in my opinion, guys. Decent show. Now we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite Maximum Carnage, which was a great show. Going to get a lot of hate. Who cares? Great freaking show. We got to talk about Samoa Joe. We got to talk about Megan Bade. We're going to be talking about that as well. Megan Bade and Samoa Joe. So yes, guys, we'll be talking about that here in a second. So what's your thoughts, guys? So you can ask questions, like I said again, on the replay you can. So before I go, that's all I have to say, guys. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always. This is Christopher Jackson Dever. I'll say it again, this is Christopher Jackson Dever. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit those notification bells as always, guys. And peace out and take care, guys. Peace out and take care.